Until the day that you are me and I am you. From what the consensus of the group here in the studio says is the greatest LP of all time, which happens to be a double LP, Songs in the Key of Life, that is Steve V. Wonder with As. A couple things. Songs in the Key of Life actually ended an incredible 70s run by Stevie Wonder, where he won a bunch of Grammys for Album of the Year. And some of the albums to come out before Songs in the Key of Life was Fulfillingness, his first finale, Inner Visions, that was the one I couldn't remember,
Okay.
Talking Book, and Secret Life of Plants. But it all culminated with a double album, Songs in the Key of Life, which probably not only what I would say the greatest album of all time, probably the most influential album of all time. When I listen to Paul Simon's Graceland, I hear Stevie Wonder's Songs in the Key of Life all through that. You know, him collaborating with all different types of artists. And if you read the liner notes for Songs in the Key of Life, it's crazy all the different artists that Stevie worked with.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
It was generational too. I mean, I think even kids nowadays recognize a song from Songs in the Key of Life, and they weren't even thought of back when it was created.
Yeah, so.
They don't even know what a liner note is.
Yes, sir. Ladies, I need you as much as possible to talk into the mic. I'm sorry, but we're going to make it do what it do. Yes, so ladies and gentlemen, we have my co-producer here, Harv Nichols, and I'm going to introduce him and let him take over pretty much. I'll be here on the sidelines, but we also, well, I mean, I'm here, you know, to fortify, but you know, you get paid big money to do this, which I don't pay him anything, but still, you know, act like you get paid big money, you know, because you women don't want to go 50-50, right?
Look,
anyway,
that's a whole nother conversation.
Anyway,
Don't
you're
even
listening
start
to The
that
Light right here on 106.5 WPPM. Harv Nichols is in the building. He's the new co-producer as we get closer to 2026. He's going to be taking on more of the producing roles, and I'll be sitting at home doing most of my production from my bedroom. We also have playwrights Jody Austin, thank you for your service, and Tiffani Dean in the building, and their new play is, wait, I gotta, because if I don't look it up, I'm gonna mess it up. Not Without Her Stories. And so they're here to discuss that. We also have the videotape going, so by this time next week, we'll have this available for you to see at AtlanticCityFocus.com. But ladies and gentlemen, he is taller than me. He is a poet and a writer in his own right. His book is called I Dedicate to Love. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the light producer Harv Nichols.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm just excited to have these two individuals here with us, the great Jody Austin and Tiffani Dean. I don't even know what to say, but this dynamic duo, I can't even tell you what year I first met them, but I'm so proud of the many efforts that they put out, just in order to move the culture forward. So just want to kind of give you a little bit of background now. I can't speak of one without speaking of the other, because they gave me a bio, and I see that everything that they do, these two sisters do it together. So just to give you some author, playwright, screenwriter, executive director, Barrymore Awards nominator. the Collective Mike School of Arts, the Collective Mike Productions. Again, we were just sitting here talking about just the poetry culture in Philadelphia, and these two have made a significant contribution to their population. To the culture. So if you two would just introduce yourself, Jody, if you mind introducing yourself briefly.
Sure, I am Jody Austin. My poet name is True Story, though.
Yeah, and I'm Tiffani Dean, as he said, and kind of go by La Diva Noir.
And I think I know you more about La Diva Noir than I do Tiffany Dean.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, 'cause y'all got history. Y'all got longer history than we do.
Exactly. So, want to kind of jump in and talk about the new production. Now, I know it's not without her stories, but I also noticed that her stories come with a price.
With a sacrifice.
Too.
Yes, it comes with a sacrifice too. This play is about women veterans and what women veterans experience in the military, which is not often spoken about. I got about writing this in 2012.
Okay.
So it's going through a lot of different stages and rewrites and it's going through a lot of different things, smaller productions of it, but this time this is finally the full-length stage play.
Oh, so you've done other productions of the...
We've done short snapshots of it,
Okay.
two different ones.
What was the inspiration for this? What kind of brought you to this?
I served in the Air Force for 21 years and I retired in 2008 and I deployed in Desert Shield and Desert Storm. I did Operation Southern Watch, which was to the Middle East. And my last deployment was for Iraqi Freedom and Noble Eagle. And when I retired, I started having different thoughts about, well, nobody really cares about the things that women veterans experience. Like, when we return home, we experience transition issues too. Returning back to our families and our children, the same way our male counterparts do. And also, we experience PTSD, depression, anxiety, and military sexual trauma as well, but we just don't really hear about it. The platform is always available for male veterans or for men vets, but I feel like it has been slow to progress to provide the same platform for women vets.
Okay. No, definitely understood. Definitely understood. So I know you mentioned PTSD, just for those who don't know. PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder, and it very much shows up within the veteran population. So definitely want to give you kudos for even approaching that particular subject. Now tell us, Tiffani, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about the play. And tell us about your role in it. Because now, are you a veteran as well?
No, I'm not a veteran as well.
She's the daughter of a veteran.
Yeah, I'm a daughter of a veteran. Yeah,
that qualifies.
I'm a mother of a vet. I'm a daughter of a vet.
That qualifies.
But I'm not a vet myself. But I have. I'm a huge advocate for women being heard. Because it's like our voices are being blocked out. It's funny how when we first came up with the script and then we casted it, and no one in the cast were vets, so they went to do their own research to to beef up the role. So they looked up, go on YouTube and they looked up trying to find interviews and things like that, and they said that they found next to nothing about women vets. Everything was about men. And I don't know if that's just because the women aren't speaking or the platform just hasn't been presented. But either way, our voices are just as important, And like Jody said, women go through something completely different. Their service is not the same as what men go through. So it's not just a complete blanket statement. There's a character who had to leave their newborn child while they were still breastfeeding. That's not something a man has to go through,
Wow.
So I'm the assistant director. I help with the development of the project itself. I contributed a small part to it.
Okay, now, come
In
on.
writing.
I know y'all, this which is probably bigger than anybody else would know, because y'all two rock together no matter what, through and through.
Yeah, we've always been, we're each
We
other's sounding
co-create
boards.
together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
do a
we're,
lot of
we're,
co-creation.
we're each
Yeah.
other's sounding boards,
Yeah.
pretty much.
So, quick question, and I know this might be kind of, not the ordinary question, but why do you think, particularly in the military, that women's voices aren't heard?
I feel that sexism is probably the biggest issue. We're just not viewed as an equal. We're not viewed as an equal contributor. We're not viewed as if we can be qualified. I've known some women who can out-snipe some of the best men veteran snipers.
Mhm.
So I can snipe too.
You said you
It's
could
like-
snipe too?
I'm an expert every single time. So, but it's just not viewed the same. And now with the current administration, they are removing the presence of women. They're downgrading our roles, previous combat roles that we were awarded. They're dismantling all of that. So it's
So good. So real quick,
Frustrating.
I hate to cut you off.
Sure.
But so I know, what was your MOS in the military?
I was a medic.
Okay.
I was a medic. I was air medicine, flight medicine, ground medic. They trained us from everything from the field to the hospital.
Right. So you've seen a lot.
Yeah. So that's how I became a nurse. That was my trajectory
Oh, okay,
into the nursing
okay.
profession.
Right.
So as a medic, I was able to take LPN boards. So I was an LPN. And then right after that, I went to work for the VA system. So
Okay.
I was in the reserves, but I served and deployed and served and deployed and worked and deployed, that kind of thing.
Yeah. No, like it's crazy when I think about how many times some people deploy. And I started realizing in conversation, sometimes it almost seems like the person can't leave that environment. And it's weird because I don't know that people really understand what PTSD does to the brain.
I think that it is especially difficult for a reservist or a National Guard person because you're constantly going back and forth into these different worlds.
Mm-hmm.
So you have your civilian life, and then you have your military life, and then you're going back and forth. So I feel like, especially for reserve and guard members, that they're not getting what they need
Mm-hmm.
to reconcile PTSD.
Yeah, no.
Because like when you're active duty, like it's in your face, and when you get out, they say here are the services. It's easier, not that it's easier, but the transition is a little easier to address those issues.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, a reservist or a guard person, they're constantly going back and forth. Like you don't really have that moment to finally get that baseline.
Yeah, no. Look, again, as I mentioned, I deal with veterans almost daily, so
Right.
those issues
Right, we're
continue to come up.
coworkers.
Yeah, which is a whole nother story. We're not gonna bring
Right,
that up. So, question for you though. So, you wrote the story, or did you?
Yes, I wrote the script. I took some time to interview some military sisters I've met over the years and asked about some of their experiences to start developing the themes and the storylines.
Okay. So now, are veterans in the? Did I read that
No.
right?
No.
Okay, but the story is about. Is it a fictive story, or is it more like a?
Some of them are loosely based on the truth,
Okay.
and some of them, like what Tiffany just said about a woman who was breastfeeding when she had to deploy.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that in my own unit on my first deployment. She was a brand new mother,
Wow.
and she was breastfeeding when we had to deploy, and that broke my heart.
Wow.
So,
So.
I'm sorry, I had a question. I had a couple questions actually. You're over there and you're doing the job, especially as a medic. I know doctors and nurses who serve stateside who've never been in the military, and sometimes they have a hard time shutting off once they get home. So you come back from Iraq, Iran. What are the steps that you take to unpack that and leave what you need to leave there and bring what you need to bring back home?
here. So I did see quite a bit of injuries. We had a lot of blast victims. In fact, my unit and my team, we had the women POWs who were ambushed. Jessica Lynch, and it was about 7 women, and so we were responsible for transporting them and getting them on to further medical care. So I think that, especially as a medic, you tend to internalize what your patient is feeling. So we take on all their pain too, and their injuries. And it was something to, even with both deployments, when we had to go get our first group of patients, you're nervous, you don't know what you're going to see, you don't know what to expect. And then you see them and you see all this trauma behind their eyes.
Right.
And
then you can't actually, like, you can't react to it.
right, you really internalize it. And
Okay.
it's heavy. It's heavy.
Okay.
But what
So-
I
I'm sorry, go
did
ahead.
was I didn't even know that I was dealing with PTSD or I didn't even know, I didn't recognize it until I had some spirals. And I said, well, perhaps I need to speak to a therapist too. And that's when I learned that, okay, I'm dealing with this too. But I didn't even know for years.
Okay. So then my next question is, does any of the play take place overseas or?
Yes.
Okay, so.
Yes, there's an ambush scene. There's a deployment scene. So it's very authentic in those ways. The play juxtapositions between the 4 women who met in boot camp and they become best friends over the years. They deployed together. So you see them as older women as best friends at this point, but they're also going to have their memories of them as their younger selves.
Okay.
So it's dope. Can't give too much. Can't give up too much.
Okay.
But
I'm excited.
very creative.
If you're just tuning in, you're listening to The Light here on 106.5 WPPM. We're here with Jody Austin. We're here with Tiffani Dean. And the name of the play is...
Now make sure you get the whole thing now. Don't only get
It's
half
like
of
a
it.
Tribe Called Quest. You got to say the whole thing.
That's right.
That's
Not
right.
without her stories.
Well,
Can I do...
Yeah, no.
Can I just call you Slick Back?
No,
It's a pimp named Slick Back.
You said you wasn't gonna say that. Say
It's like the Tribe Called Quest. You got to say the whole thing.
So Tip, were you about to say something? Tip?
No, I was, you know what? What was I gonna say? I'm getting
So
old.
I did have a
certainly
question.
don't remember.
I did have a question for you, Tiffany.
Uh-huh.
Was it? And maybe it wasn't because you guys have been working together so long. But was it a little awkward, or were there times when it was awkward for you to write, knowing that you had not been over there, or did you tap into maybe something that you encountered or heard in dealing with one of your children who were deployed or your dad?
Actually, I didn't have a problem with it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna. I hate boasting. I really don't, but I tap in pretty good.
Okay.
I'm pretty good at speaking other voices.
Okay.
And I've known before I even tackled writing anything about this subject. Like I've known Jody forever. You know what I mean? And I heard the stories. I experienced the. So this play is something that we have been working on in bits and pieces for quite a while. You know, even from the point when she started writing it, and then we've seen the evolution of it in so many different forms, and I've been there through each and every one of those evolutions.
Okay.
So I didn't step in and contribute to it in writing until this last part here. So therefore, it wasn't awkward because I had already got a feel for what was going on and what needed to be said. And then also, a lot of the topics, although they are very specific to women's vets, still are universal in a lot of ways. So it made it easier, to be able to, because I just stepped in and spoke from a woman's voice based upon how she would handle this situation or that situation. You know what I mean? But yeah, it did is going through, like the play almost isn't even the same play as it was when we first started off. It's been through a million rewrites.
Now, is this the one, did y'all win an award for this play, or was that?
International, yeah. It was selected for the International Black Theater Festival in 2024, and we took it down there. It was a stage reading, but it's an honor.
Is that in Atlanta?
No, North Carolina.
North Carolina,
North
okay.
Carolina. It is the Mecca of Black Theater, so it's very, it was an honor to be selected.
Okay.
But just to circle back and piggyback.
You told me Tyler Perry played your role.
Circle back to what Tiffany was saying. As humans, we tend to bond with trauma, and it's safe to say Tiffany is a trauma survivor, and I am in my own right as well. So it doesn't have to be, PTSD can be a universal trauma for people, so it doesn't have to be just military. Historically, it was named that because of military service, but I mean, people experience trauma from all different walks of life, so it was easy for her to tap in and be just as involved with the piece anyway. So.
You know, some of the things that's interesting about trauma that we don't necessarily think about is when you experience trauma, you're more likely to put yourself in a situation that may increase your opportunities for more trauma.
Right.
So if you think about the things that often lead folks to the military, particularly in our communities, what you're talking about is trauma leading to more trauma and then doubling down on more trauma.
Absolutely.
And really not even, so when we think about black males in particular not having a voice, so you go to a whole nother level exponentially when you talk about black women or minority women within the military. The other part is we don't think about, it's almost like a forced integration. Like, it's not like somebody really cares about whether you have any individuality. Some people can accomplish it, but it's forced, like, and the racism and all this, so it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot. So,
Yeah.
I think that sometimes like we're like glutton for punishment, and that's why I said that. So people tend to link up and through trauma, and Jody and I have bonded through trauma.
yeah, that's
And-
real.
We bonded before we knew we had trauma.
We bonded before we
Well,
knew. We just
right.
kind of like were drawn together, but.
Right.
But then on top of that, it became our mission to endure the trauma over and over again to help someone else.
Well, right. Yeah.
It's almost crazy when when we're in rehearsals, especially when we write things that are personal that we remember or that we have seen, and we relive that through the rehearsals over and over again, but yet we do it anyway. That's what I mean. Like it's you're like a glutton for punishment. It's like
And there's healing in that.
Well, that's
There's
what
healing in
exactly
that.
I was about to
Yeah.
say. So being that Jody made me come to the place that she's making me come.
I did. I said, no,
She
man,
said-
you got to come.
She's like, we're not gonna have you try to skip out unless somebody else come. You're gonna have to come. And I'm excited about the opportunity for healing, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
because beyond the trauma is an opportunity for healing. But I wanted to tell us about the cast.
Okay.
Who's in the cast?
We have an amazing cast. So first of all, we have been blessed as a production company that our cast members, they come back and they come back and they come back to work with us. So that is a blessing in and of itself. Thank goodness. So we have the amazing Sky England, we have Anitra Oliver, we have Amanda Washington. This is her acting debut. She was a natural. We have our Natasha Emma Ray Mason, Emma Ray, and we have some young ladies because, like I said, there's going to be some juxtapositions here. We have some young ladies from Cheney State University. Shout out to Cheney.
Oh, wow.
That is Jaden Harrington, Karma Smith, Mecca Kim, who's a poet also, and Brianna Vaughn.
So they're currently at Cheney?
3 of them are
Oh,
Jaden,
wow, that's cool.
Mecca, and Karma.
No, that's cool.
Brianna is a returning cast member. She's been in this play already, and she's been with us since she was 16. She's now 22. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's real cool. Real cool. So, if I'm coming to this event, what am I expecting? What am I getting out of this? What am I learning? What am I grasping?
You're gonna learn about what women veterans experience, first of all, and
The
second,
roller coaster.
and the roller coaster. That's what I was about to say. So you're gonna experience the roller coaster of emotions. So we write about heavy stuff, but we have to include moments of joy in it.
And I'm looking forward to this because this is going to add to my therapeutic repertoire.
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
I'm looking at how this is going to help me, right?
Yeah. The ladies, they have a natural rapport with each other, so it's just going to be like regular conversation, hanging out, the girls hanging out, and then the other young ladies, they have really internalized like what they experience in their younger selves. So,
You're going to experience them laughing,
joy.
and you're going to laugh right along with them. You
And you're
know,
gonna cry.
you're going to cry. No sugarcoating it.
So I gotta bring my tissue.
You're gonna be You're going to be angry.
You're going to be angry.
So wait, you hear that? I'm gonna have to bring my tissue, baby. Did you hear that? I'm gonna get in touch with my sensitive
You
side.
coming, right?
Jermaine, stop laughing.
You coming, right?
Well, speaking of coming, the play again is called Not Without Her Stories. We're here with the playwrights and the directors, Jody Austin and Tiffani Dean. How can we get tickets? Where are we going to, and
Sure.
when is the play going to be? Because people actually saw one of the clips on my Facebook Live, and they like, okay, so this sounds good, but where am I going?
Okay.
So, well, it was really important for us to produce this on Veterans Day weekend
Okay.
to honor women veterans. Yes, let's honor all veterans, but let's put a little special emphasis on women veterans.
Indeed.
The date is November 8th, 2025 at 7 p.m. at the beautiful Venice Island Performing Arts Center in Manayunk. There's on-site kiosk parking there, and it starts at 7 p.m. And you can get your tickets on Eventbrite.
Okay, great.
So you can just put in a search on Eventbrite, Not Without Her Stories, and it'll pop right up.
I laughed when you said that. I had VIP access to a restaurant opening last night that I didn't get a chance to go to because I spent an hour and 30 minutes trying to find a parking lot that was open.
Oh,
So I never made it.
oh wow.
I wound up having Wawa for dinner.
Well, the beautiful thing is Venice Island has on-site parking.
Yeah, Manny usually does have great parking, so.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: so this will be the only? Will this be the only showing, or will it be another showing? Kind of what's
Right.
Again, I don't want to move forward too fast.
Yeah, right now this is the only showing in Philadelphia, but we do have an upcoming performance in March, but it won't be in the area. But we do have exciting news to announce about that soon. It's
Okay.
still under construction a little bit.
Okay, so y'all still negotiating the contract.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Okay. All right.
But we actually have a theater season kind of now. We've been so busy with our productions. The next thing we'll be producing is our annual show, An Evening of Shorts.
So tell us about that. What's that?
Ooh, summer love. It's lots of fun. We bring on new playwrights. We take new playwrights from page to stage, and we do an evening of different shorts. So last year was amazing. The year before was amazing. It's more and more amazing each year. So it's a combination of theater and media. So whatever the story wants it to be, it can be partially multimedia and on the stage too. And we catapult poetry. We do so much of our storytelling through poetry. So we show playwrights that you can write a story and a play out of your poem.
Okay. You know that's interesting. You know why that's interesting? Because Ray has a whole lot of outstanding poetry.
We took submissions this year.
Well,
You promoted
I tell you this, one of the things that blew my mind the first time I read Their Eyes Were Watching God was the poetry within the prose. And a matter of fact, when I was a kid, I remember growing up, and Their Eyes Were Watching God was in my father's library.
I remember.
And I would walk by that book, and I was like, their eyes were watching God. What the, because that's just such a powerful statement,
It is.
and it's in and of itself. So as a child, I'm like, I don't think I'm ready to read this yet. Like, what the? So what happened was, I was about 25, and they had a discount rack at Borders, Borders, and it was like $5.99, extremely discounted. I said, well, I know it's a classic, and I picked it up. And two things. Number one, I read the first page. I must have sat there for about an hour reading it. Zora Neale Hurston's Their Eyes Were Watching God. And it was like, but the poetry in that book
It's captivating.
is so captivating. The other thing is that before I read Their Eyes Were Watching God, I had read Tumbling, and I forgot there was another book I read, and the characters in those books were not directly related to the characters in Their Eyes Were Watching God, but they were influenced by Their Eyes Were Watching God. So I was like, wow.
It's funny, the first book for me that was like that, where the poetry within the prose, like you were saying,
Right.
was in Dijake Shange for Colored Girls.
For Colored Girls.
Yes.
I read it for the first time I read that book, I was like 7.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Wow.
And,
Highly influential for both
and
of
it's
us.
been highly, highly influential. And it wasn't even really until recently that I realized that I write so much like I do from that influence that I got from when I was 7.
Wow.
Yeah, while reading for Colored Girls, because poetry was like a natural progression for me, and now I realize that it was because it started way back then.
Well, let me ask you this, and Harv, I'll ask you later, because today it's all about Jody and Tiffany. Before you got on the air, I was talking to Harv, and he was saying, Jody and Tiffany, and I said, yeah, they're not even, I wouldn't consider them professionals at what they do. They're veterans because they've been doing this a long time. And listen, I want to say now, I'm sure I thanked you at the time, but if I didn't, I want to thank you because I used to have an art gallery